Welcome to episode 125, season 3, episode 5 of The Bar is Ankle High podcast, your favorite ADHD podcast that explores life's low bars with wit and wisdom and no woodchucks. My name is Katie.
And I'm Garrett. Just kidding. This is actually a podcast that's just about 1,000-pound sisters and sister wives and polyfamily.
Polyfamily. Yeah. Well, the show is named Polyfamily, but I think their social medias were Polyfamily.
You're right. Because I do follow them on Instagram or something.
Yeah. So it's actually apropos because it's got something to do with my topic for today. But
love that.
So Garrett, I texted Garrett before we started recording this morning because I was scrolling Reddit, and if you're unaware, there's been a recent season of 1,000-Pound Sisters, and
to back up a second, Katie texted me when the season premiered, and I was like, now I need to make sure that I know all the things, because I have that type of ADHD where it's like, no, I need everything perfect and I need to know all the things before I do the thing.
Which also you turned me on to this show.
Because I started watching it after I watched Sister Wives or something. Maternity leave was rough. So I had started watching 1,000-Pound Sisters, got distracted, only watched a handful of the first season. So I went through and watched first, middle, last of every season of 1,000-Pound Sisters to prepare for the new episodes coming out. So now I am really well versed in 1,000-Pound Sister. So if there's ever an opportunity where I can do a trivia for this very specific niche, I might be helpful.
So this season on 1,000-Pound Sisters, the two main sisters, Tammy and Amy, are not really on speaking terms.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah. It's also they're not on speaking terms because Tammy was up in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia getting skin removal surgery. And when she was there, Amy was rancid smelling, I guess. So her family was making fun of her. Yeah. So Amy got all butthurt because she smelled horrible. And I'm not sure that we were ever told why she smelled horrible. I don't know if it was just a BO thing, if it was loose skin and skin folds, if it was a yeast infection sort of thing.
But they also they mentioned that almost as a side note. Yeah. It wasn't even, and I personally kind of felt like it because it led to this confrontation between the two of them. But I kind of felt and somebody else said the same thing when I was reading the Reddit comments, it seemed like an excuse for Tammy to just let out how she was feeling about Amy to Amy.
Right. So fast forward to this season because, so Amy just left while Tammy was recovering from her skin surgery.
Yeah, she woke up and Amy was like, peace, gotta go.
Right. Yeah. So this season, now Tammy is saying, well, she wasn't there for me, and she sent me a picture of her son with a diaper on his head and said, look, it's Tammy after her surgery because she had a facelift, and so she had bandages around her head, which on the one hand... I thought
that was very fucking funny, by the way.
I thought it was hilarious.
I would have laughed really hard if somebody sent that to me and was like, hey, look. Side note, my spouse used to sing a song, My Baby's Just Like Me, Diaper Free. Is that what it was? And then he changed it to My Baby's Just Like Mom, Diaper On, because I had to wear a diaper after birth. And I could laugh about it. Right. It was one of those yeah, man, I'm in a motherfucking diaper right now. Just like the baby. So I'm watching that, and there are some moments on that show where the siblings are, honest to God, very funny and quick and come out with some stuff. And I'm I snort laugh because I'm that's really fucking funny. And even if it were me, I would still be laughing at it. Right.
Chris's wife had to, she cold turkey. She was drinking 8 or 10 sodas a day.
Yeah.
And she cold turkey quit it. And the doctor was like, how was that caffeine withdrawal? And Chris was like, I about died. Like, he just like chimed in, like didn't bother waiting for her to answer.
He's very funny. And you know what? Honestly, funny. It seems like he's a good sibling. Like, he's probably like the middle child, and I think he really does try to like see people regularly, and like he's just like a very, very much like a dad. Like, he's trying to like keep up with everybody and take care of everybody and make sure everybody's good. And I was reading that before Amy was taking care of Tammy, Chris and Brittany were taking care of Tammy. Oh. And now Tammy has all these, like, Tammy hates Chris's wife.
Oh, yeah. She's real rude to her.
Right. Which it's like.
Especially because she's finally gotten her weight loss surgery. And now it's a thing that they're like, wow, look how much weight Brittany lost. And Tammy at one point was like, and me too. And we were like, well, yeah, bitch, you were 800 pounds. Like,
truly. You weighed so much that your forehead gained weight.
Yeah, she has like a permanent lipoma. Like they I think suctioned out her forehead and it came back. Oh my fucking God. Because she needs a plastic surgeon to go in there and actually like Dr. Pimple Popper, like remove it. So that
and she may never back. Like it just may never go away. Like I feel like there's just a degree of like memory that her body has to like, yeah, I don't know what to do with this. So here you go. And it's just like you're dealing with a family. It's like really poor. Well, they grew up poor. I mean, they
very
had
dirt floor poor families.
Yes,
from Tennessee or Kentucky,
maybe. And the mother, it seems like she was borderline neglectful.
She every time their mom is not on the show too often, but every time she is, there's something about the way she looks at them that I was she's mean. You were the mother that hated your children. Yes. Like you were not there to give your kids a hug when they needed it. You were there to tell them they were stupid. That was your job as a mom. Like,
she's
there's
really
just
terrible.
Something about this woman that she is like
mean.
Like in her core is mean and like
she's just rotten.
Yes. And I said when they showed her this season, I thought for sure she had died already.
I don't understand how she's still alive.
I don't know.
I mean, existing out of spite. And I do feel bad because you see all these adults who have had all of these issues stemming from how they were raised. And now, I mean, Tammy, I think, has lived so much of her life borderline homebound, and avoiding any kind of anything, that she is wholly incapable of dealing with any kind of feelings. And when she had feelings before, she was binge eating, I mean, to the point that she was like 800 pounds. So she just has like zero coping skills. So like, I can kind of like the fight that she had with Amy that started with Tammy decides that she's not going to get a job. She's going to volunteer at a humane society, which she wasn't even doing a good job at that. And she wanted the whole family to come see her volunteering at the humane society, which like weird. And Amy, who had recently been bitten by a camel.
And arrested.
That's not a Mad Lib. Yes. And arrested in the hospital after she was bitten by this camel, which she needed special antibiotics for. Couldn't be doxycycline. She needed special antibiotics because it was a camel bite. But anyway.
They were at a drive-through, like, petting
safari
zoo situation.
Type thing. So, and she got bitten by a camel. It's fucking bonkers. It sounds like Mad Libs, but it was real. It was on camera. You saw it happen. Yeah, and
she got arrested because her boyfriend, now husband, had marijuana in the car that he alleged that was a medical marijuana situation. But
for a different state.
Under the seat of... like under the back seat of the car, and there were kids in the car, and she's also in the middle of a custody fight with her ex-husband at the time. And so it was like truly the most, again, not a Mad Lib, and somehow
but also very like Kentucky, like that's,
very white trash. Like it's just the sort of thing where it's like, well, what'd you think was going to happen, ding dong? Like, you know, come on.
So Amy did not want to, she asked what types of animals were going to be at this humane society, which I think is a fair question, because you can go to some rescues where there's like a fucking llama randomly or whatever. And if she's feeling some type of way, like whatever. Yeah. And also if somebody's looking for an out, just give them the out. Why, if I have to pressure you to go, I don't want you there.
Right. Especially if you're going to tell me how good I am at volunteering to pet cats or whatever.
Even like they showed her volunteering and this dog took a dump and she's like calling somebody else to come help. Because she probably can't fucking bend over.
Well, the worker was like, oh, well, I didn't show you where the bags were, but the next one's on you.
Yeah.
And like was very pointed where it was like, also on the other hand, I'm like, you couldn't have figured out what the situation is.
Zero life skills. Like wasn't even able to take care of herself.
I would have been like, hey, if you show, like, I'm going to finish walking the dog, whatever, put him inside. Can you just show me where the waste bags are and I'll pick that up? But like, obviously I don't have one on me. Like I just would have phrased it differently than, But again, she also didn't want
life skills to the point that she literally didn't even think to ask about a poop bag.
Yeah. Well, because she's never had to do anything for herself.
Not even like physically take care of herself, like bathing and grocery shopping. And
when she graduated high school, she was like 400 pounds.
Yeah.
So like she was, and she's only 5 feet tall. So
yes,
she's very petite and was already effectively wheelchair bound when she graduated high school. Like at no point did this girl ever have the ability or reason to develop these skills, frankly.
Yes. And then now I think it just makes it, now she's like, no, look at all the things that I'm doing. And it shows all the deficits that she has. I mean, she goes into a store and somebody that she's known her whole life who drove 3 hours to do this little trip with her, she starts having a meltdown, goes, no, I have to go home.
And says, I'm getting overwhelmed. And then starts crying and like tells him to throw the clothing on the floor of the store, like just throw it down. It was just like bizarre. So Tammy is bizarre. A hot mess. But I was on Reddit this morning and I saw something that was talking about the sisters and their relationship with each other. Because when Amy asked about what type of animals are at this ASPCA, Tammy said, well, bitch, if you don't want to go, then just don't go. Like immediately flew off the handle.
And then doubled down.
Yeah. And Amy was like, also, this was in a group chat with all of the siblings.
Yes.
So then Amy was like, well, I'm just asking, like, you know, how big are the animals that are going to be there? I have like PTSD from the camel bite. And which again, I'm like, I don't know if we're going to call it PTSD. Like,
yeah, I think it's a little extreme.
Yeah. Like, but it was according to the DSM criteria, you do need to fear for your life. And I don't know if like getting a nibble from a camel is really fearing for your life, but sure, really whatever. Else. You know,
I think I even texted Katie in all caps something about like, this bitch just got bitten by a camel.
Yes. And but they have this back and forth. And then at that point, Tammy like hauls off and she's like, you're a deadbeat mom. You're worthless. Don't fucking come like at me, blah, 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 blah.
Made it like way more
way personal
than was appropriate for the situation. And it was definitely like, well, time for me to unburden myself with all of these mean thoughts. And Tammy's fucking mean. She was mean when Amy was taking care of her. She was mean. I think she's now trying to, now that she's a little bit happier because she's had the surgery. I think that she's trying to play it off like, just, you know, I'm just trying to tell her. But there are times where like, I mean, the one sister met somebody and moved in with them like kind of quickly. Mm-hmm. And kind of left the area and was like, I gotta go. Like, I'm going to give this a shot, and left, and then came back because the relationship didn't work out, which just like fucking happens, you know?
Right.
And Tammy was talking to the camera like, oh, like kind of shitting on the sister. Like how
like what a dumb slut, basically. Yeah.
Yes. And you're sitting there like, ma'am.
Yeah.
What?
Well, and that was like Tammy is also somebody who had transients basically living with her, but who were feeders. So she's supposed to be trying to lose weight. And these are guys that get off on watching someone who is 700 pounds eat themselves to death, basically. And she, like, while that was happening, would then go to her doctor and be like, I'm following the diet. I don't know. blah, 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 blah. And they're like, well, you're not. If you're even exactly the same weight, you're not following the diet. So.
I generally have found Amy to be way more tolerable than Tammy watching this show.
Yes and no. My problem with Amy is that I feel like she puts on an affect a lot where she almost gets like way more country or like really, really dumbs herself
leaning
down
into
quite
it,
a bit. Yeah. And that really irks me so much.
Oh, annoying for sure. Yeah.
Because when she does speak normally, it's like, okay, so you are capable of like having a conversation with people. You don't just need to sit here and like fart and burp on camera and think it's funny.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, so like there's certain things where like, I don't know, like she's definitely way better. She took the whole process much more seriously to begin with. Than Tammy did. And
I also like...
She did and she didn't, because she also got immediately pregnant.
Yes.
So
and
like,
she also was like taking care of Tammy fully while also like taking care of her own... I mean, she had like little kids and she's still fucking taking care of her fucking mean sister, who also... She goes to a rehab for like... It wasn't a weight loss. It was like a... But it was for people that were like super obese, right? It was like a special, not a bariatric program, but like...
It may be folks who had like eating disorders in general, and she...
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Maybe.
She went twice, right?
Yeah.
And then she marries.
The first time she went, there was like an eating clinic rehab thing. The second time she went to rehab was after she got COVID, because she was in the ICU and she had to be, she had to have a trach put in, and then she was on the trach for a long time.
A very long time, because she could not meet the she couldn't medical requirements to get it taken out.
Yeah, she couldn't.
And she was real salty about it.
Yeah.
Yes. And she married a man in this rehab. She
gets
cleared.
Had the same problems.
Same problems.
Yeah.
She gets cleared for discharge, and she's like, "See ya, pal," and he dies like not long after that. And then she was like, definitely, I don't want to say playing the grieving widow, but like, you guys hardly knew each other. You were married for a minute and you literally left right after you got married and went home. She was pissed at her sister, Amy, who at the time had like 2 toddlers, that she wouldn't drive the 8 hours to go visit her for like a fucking hour. I was like, on what
She also
planet?
had a very like ostentatious kind of funeral for this guy. Who, not to say that like he didn't deserve a funeral, but again, it wasn't his family having this funeral. It was his new wife, who it really seemed like it was a party for Tammy.
Yes,
and the urn was like just part of the theme decor for the party, like,
which is sad.
It was just very bizarre.
Like, it was. So it's just one of those, like, it's a really crazy thing to watch. And I was saying to Katie recently, like, you know, now we've gone past the like kind of shtick, like novelty of it. And now it's like, oh no, this is the real life part where these people like literally don't have interpersonal skills and have these like now resentments and estrangements and you know, have these conflicts that they can't resolve and can't speak to each other in a healthy way. And it's, you know, Tammy's got a girlfriend now who is way too fucking nice. She's way too fucking nice and normal to be with Tammy, who's trying really hard. She's like, hey, like, I can tell you really miss your sister. So let's try and repair this a little bit. And I'll hand it to Amy was like trying. And I think Amy does better with that.
I think all of the other siblings really do. I think they all really understood that, because they all have had some sort of weight issue or something.
I think all of them have had bariatric surgery at this point.
I don't know if the oldest one did. The oldest
blonde
girl.
one? Oh no, she did.
She did?
Misty. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She and Amanda both did.
But I feel like they all understood that there was a lot of like personal work that they needed to do to address just their lifestyle and how like really what was causing them to eat so much, different stressors in their lives. And to the extent that like certain things you can't change. Like you can't change your family, but you can change how you deal with your family. And I think Amanda in particular, like she just walks away. She's like, yeah, no thanks, I'm out of here.
I will say one of my favorite television moments in history will be when Amy and her husband broke up and her oldest sister Amanda was there, and she was up in this man's face and was daring him to hit her. And it was a really epic breakup, but I just really respected she just like laid down the line. It was like, oh, no. We've crossed we're not doing this anymore. Like, it's not happening anymore. It stops right now, right here. And I didn't realize that part of it was that Amy can't drive because of her eyeballs.
Yes.
I didn't know that. And that's going to create a situation where she's going to wind up with somebody really controlling.
You know what I found out,
though? On people. What?
She's legally blind because her mother contracted the disease that is in cat feces when she was pregnant with her. And
toxoplasmosis?
Yeah, either from handling cat litter or infected cats or
you can also get it in the garden.
Not washing your hands afterwards.
Yeah.
So she that is why Amy is blind.
You're kidding me.
I thought it was just because she has a very, very lazy eye.
That's probably why she has the lazy eye. Because of that.
Absolutely. Because it can cause full blindness. Like,
I remember being in a prenatal appointment and saying to the nurse practitioner that Katie and I used to see, who's lovely. She was really, she used to be a midwife. She was really excellent for prenatal care.
She just retired. But
I miss her so much. She was excellent. And I said to her, I was like, I don't know, I'm really, really nervous about toxoplasmosis because I read that you can get it from gardening and I'm out in the garden all the time. And she was like, Garrett, just wash your hands.
Just wash your hands.
She was like, just wash your hands after and it'll be fine. I was like, that's it? She was like, yeah.
Do I have to tell you not to eat the dirt?
Wear gloves. And I was like, oh.
Just you with your fingers in your mouth in the garden.
Doing a taste test on all the dirt to make sure it's okay.
How do you know the pH levels? Dwight Schrute out there.
It's got a real, what did Michael Scott say? It's got a real Ogie afterbirth. But yeah, it was just one of those. She's like, yeah, just wash your hands. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do that a lot. She's like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, well, Amy's
cut to this lady who's like, let me
mother.
Just eat treats out of the fucking litter box.
Yeah, I guess they said it in an earlier season.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
and that just breaks my heart. Like, that's just like somebody who didn't get good prenatal care, who didn't have, like, these are people who like aren't being thoroughly parented. Like, you don't have somebody who's like, hey, like, this is basic hygiene. These are things that we don't do. These are things that we do. Things to avoid. Like, you don't have somebody who's like teaching you these things. And that, I just like, that breaks my heart when I see, because now you've got adults who, she can't fucking drive. She's blind.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was very easy for her ex-husband to take advantage of her and make her feel trapped. And then she was dealing with postpartum depression on top of it. And when you can't drive and you can't even like leave the house to like go do something on your own, it makes it, I can't imagine how suffocated she felt.
Oh, and having a spouse who refuses to do anything.
What a skin tag of a man. Holy
And
hell.
honestly, at first, I was like kind of impressed by him because he was like fucking helping her take care of Tammy and pushing Tammy's wheelchair all over the place on up hills. And I was like, man, that's a tough one. That's a thankless. And then, as time progresses and then you're like, oh, you see, and it's again, the novelty wears off and you see the reality of it and you're like, oh, this is sad. And that's why, like, I think that I kind of had a soft spot for Amy because it is relatable also to knowing that feeling of being postpartum and just feeling like you're drowning in things and you can't get ahead and you're so tired and there's just no getting rest.
And she had her kids back to back too, which again, I think
they're like a year apart or something.
Yeah, they're pretty much Irish twins almost, I think. Yeah. And again, I mean, to your point of, comprehensive prenatal care and just healthcare education,
right.
In these rural areas, which is, only going to go down with the closure of all regional hospitals, but
and all the federal cuts.
Yeah. So, but in any event, I was on Reddit this morning and what I noticed was that they were talking about how Tammy always talked about how she was valedictorian of her high school class. And someone said, well, like, how hard is it to be valedictorian of 20 people kind of thing? And so There was a reply that was like 20 what? Hamsters? And I was like, oh, excuse me. I can't with Reddit right now.
Oh, somebody was talking about her forehead the other day, and they were like, they were calling it Tammy Slayton and the Forehead of Secrets or something. And I was literally reading comments off out loud to my spouse who doesn't watch the show, and I was like giggling because it was just like, sometimes the stuff is just so outlandish and so funny. I can't.
Well, come to find out that she's the valedictorian. She didn't graduate a public high school. She graduated a special education program. So she was the valedictorian of a special education program, which I'm willing to bet she was in a special education program because of her size, not because of her intellect. But still, if you're in a class with other people who are there for their intellect, having the best grades isn't something that I would be bragging about. It's kind of just a default setting at that point.
Or like, full information. If you're going to talk about how you're the valedictorian, mentioning, yeah. I mean, that's like me saying I'm the valedictorian when there was 2 people in my class, and you know what I mean? It's like me and the dog, yeah. And I'm king of the castle.
Well, yeah, I mean, basically it's like, like all the jokes about homeschooled kids, right? Like, they take their mom to prom and
brother or sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in need of a show,
yeah,
that's messy.
It's messy, but like the drama doesn't really affect anybody but them. So
right, and it also like sometimes legitimately funny. Like Chris comes out with stuff, and they had a welcome home party for Tammy, and he made a pin the trach on the Tammy game, and I almost spit out my drink. I laughed so hard when he said that. And again, that's something that, like, if I were Tammy, I'd be like, bah! Like, that's funny. That's funny.
Yes, it's objectively funny.
Yes. And it also, like, I think if I were her siblings, I would have been hurt because she was talking about how she like couldn't tell her family about her girlfriend. Meanwhile, like her one sister was like, my son's gay. Like another one like has a child who's, I don't know,
somewhere
not heteronormative. I think she's with a woman. So it's just one of those, like, the whole family was like, no, nobody really cares. And then you find out she's Tammy being weird.
I don't recall if it was before Caleb passed away or after, but she came out as being pansexual and went real hard into the Pride Month celebration, which just felt very performative, frankly. Like, which I say that as a straight woman, but like, it was just one of those things where, like, for the folks that I've known who have discovered their sexuality later on in life, don't need to, like, I don't know, I guess make it their whole identity, I guess is how I would describe it. Like, it was almost like the billboard of her life was suddenly this like pansexual identity.
Which is also, I think it was right after he died, because she was also like, prior to that, the billboard had been that she was a widow, and you know, and I'm not, it's not to discount the emotional pain of losing someone, but it was just one of those, like, I don't know, you've been married like 5 minutes.
I also don't, again, I mean, I feel the same way with,
and it wasn't like I don't want to say it wasn't a real relationship, but like,
it wasn't a real relationship.
You didn't get the chance. It's like on, you know, you'll see like those internet relationships. So like, you never even met.
It's basically it's a summer camp boyfriend. You were there and you were bored and you wanted somebody to connect with, and you connected. And then for whatever reason, you decided to get married about it instead of it just being dating.
Oh, that was my boyfriend when I was in rehab.
The reason they had to get married was because they wanted to be able to spend the night in each other's rooms.
Yes.
So like, it was strictly to get what she wanted, which is like her whole, like, she does whatever she has to do to get what she wants anytime she wants something.
Which is probably a response to never having been given what she like really needed.
Oh, for
which
sure.
like you see and it's sad, but you're also like, Tammy, you're a grown adult. Like you need
you're in
to
your
deal
30s.
with your shit.
Yeah.
Right. It's time. Like you gotta, and I think like, I know like speaking for myself personally, I think parenthood has forced a lot of that growth.
Yeah.
Like it has forced me to hold a mirror up to some of my bad behaviors because I have someone who's immediately mimicking them. And she'll do it repeatedly. But it's one of those like, you are not responsible for what your childhood was like and how you were raised, but you are responsible for how you like move through the world after that.
Yes.
And how you're treating people who are supporting you and taking care of you. And I mean, the way her response to Amy, even though Amy makes a lot of parenting decisions I would not make, Amy was still fucking wiping your ass, girly. Like she was still fully taking care of you, doing all your shopping and your meds and bringing stuff to you when she had like a little baby at home to take care of.
Yes.
Still,
and again, bringing stuff to you when she could not drive.
Right.
So
it's a whole family involved event to bring things to you, which she had no problem asking people for what she needed. So yeah, it just like, some of it is like, some of the fun gets taken, not the fun, but like, you know, some of the entertainment value is lost because you watch it and you're like, oh, like this is sad now. Like this is the reality of the first couple seasons we watched. This is the back end of that.
Yeah.
But also if you want to see somebody get bitten by a camel, a camel, guys, a camel, like a real camel. Yeah.
Chomp.
Yep.
Yeah. But that does lead into my topic for today. So.
I love that leads into your topic. Love that.
So this is the science behind why we have comfort TV shows.
I am so excited right now.
So like we've all got them, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't reality TV.
So like personally, I have a few shows that I've got lined up for when I'm in recovery from my surgery. So like I'm planning to rewatch True Blood. I'm planning.
Oh yeah,
I
did that
Schitts
a few years
Creek,
ago.
like locked and loaded and ready to go. Also, you know, R.I.P. Catherine O'Hara. But
I can't even think about it too much.
I know,
so sad.
But the question is like, what is it about these shows that grips us, and why, when we are burned out or stressed out or overwhelmed, do we return to these same shows over and over again, even though we've watched them dozens of times, we know them by heart? Like, why do we keep going back to them? It's because your brain. Duh.
Damn it again.
Why else would we be talking about it? So first, it's your amygdala. So when you're stressed or you're burnt out, your amygdala is firing at max capacity. It's trying to assess the risks and figure out the next opportunity for the fight, flight, freeze, fawn event that's going to happen.
And when you have ADHD, you've got like this really beefy amygdala that really loves responding to things like your life is at risk all the time.
Right. Like sometimes you're just responding to an overhead light, but other times you're responding to like the dogs barking at the mailman.
Sometimes you're responding like death is nigh when too many sounds are happening at the same time. And sometimes it's just that your sock is too tight.
That's all I could think. Actually, speaking of when Tammy was in the store with the pastor and was like, I'm getting overwhelmed. And I was like, is your sock on wrong? Like, is it just that the music's too loud in the store?
Yeah. Also, like, this is me every time I have to go out and shop.
There's many times where I'm in the store and I'm like, boy, am I glad I remembered my ear pods so I can just listen to whatever the fuck I want to and tune everyone else out. So as we know, your amygdala is working even if you're not aware that it's working. So it's just always there. And with ADHD, you're going to be more prone to burnout because of this beefy factor. And because we're not always aware of when our amygdala is going to action, that's what contributes to that burnout feeling. But when you watch a show that you've already seen, the predictability of the show helps your frontal cortex and amygdala relax. You know where the jump scares are, where the surprises, the plot twists, the drama, you know what to expect. So that whole part of your brain can just like completely take a big sigh and relax and just almost turn off because there's nothing unexpected that's going to happen with that. But I don't think, have we ever talked about the neocortex and the hippocampus?
I don't think so. I know, like, we've definitely covered amygdala and, like, I feel like maybe frontal lobe.
We've definitely talked about frontal lobe.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we've talked about the hippocampus.
Your neocortex is your short-term memory storage in your brain. And your hippocampus or hippocampus, however you want to pronounce it, is your long-term memory storage. So like in Inside Out, when they're like sucking up all the memories to put them into long-term storage or put them into the abyss, those are all the memories. Like, think of it that way. Your short-term storage is in the control center of your brain. Your hippocampus is the shelving with all the other memories from your whole life.
Oh, no, we did, because we were talking about like how the ADHD brain, like your working memory, like the things that you have handy is just very short. So you can't have a lot of information readily available because you just have a very short shelf.
Yes. So that was like episode 3.
Yes. So quite a long time ago.
So when I was in 11th grade, I was taking chemistry, and my chemistry teacher was like obsessed with like repetition. That was her thing for like teaching us all these different concepts in chemistry. And she kept saying, like, you want it to go from your neocortex to your hippocampus. You want it to go from your neocortex to your hippocampus. And she kept like doing this motion over and over again. But the idea being, with the repetition, it goes into your hippocampus, you get it into your long-term storage, and it becomes easier for you to remember because you're not relying on this immediate callback ability.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. You have it like permanently stored because you've actually learned it instead of cramming and memorizing it for an exam. Which was how I've survived every form of schooling, personally.
But a recent study found that watching an old show and that watching that comfort show actually activates your hippocampus. It activates your long-term memory. So when you watch a show that you've already watched from a while ago, your brain activates those memories from the last time you watched it. So if it's a comfort show, it's generally going to be like a happy, calming memory. So in addition to the show relaxing your amygdala because it's predictable and you know what's going to happen, it's also causing your brain to feel these comforting memories where you were already relaxed. So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost, or it feeds itself with these calming feelings because your brain activates those memories from the last time you watched it, and it can help you relax even more. And they're also saying it's basically like getting to hang out with former you, because it's like your emotions that you were feeling the last time you watched the show. So it's almost like little internal time travel.
It's got to be like music too. Like, I feel like music is probably the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's music that I just like associate with, like, oh my God, I remember I was going through X, Y, and Z when I was listening to this, or I was really into like whatever phase, or, you know, I can remember clothes I was wearing.
Yes. Yeah. There's one song in particular that I just know, like, I was listening to it when I was working at a kiosk in the mall when I was like 16. And like, I know what I was wearing. I know like where my iPod was clipped onto my jeans and the whole night. Like, I can just picture that moment. And it's just this one song from the All American Rejects' first album.
Isn't it amazing? Like, and it's also like, speaking of that long-term storage, like lyrics to things that, you know, a song I haven't listened to in 20 years, that it's like you remember every word to it and you remember all the little like intricacies of the music. I'll tell you what, now we know there's brain science behind it. So it's not my weird little ADHD brain, my little squirrel brain. It's the pathways in my brain.
Yeah.
Because those are things that are in my long-term, that I listened to so many times. I committed them to my long-term memory. And now when I hear them, it's because they are stored in my long-term memory. Are there other things that would probably be a better use of space? Yes, probably.
I would love if some information about taxes and what line requires what information could go into my long-term memory.
Yeah, or
instead, like, every time I'm on TurboTax, like with the question mark.
What's the question mark? What is this field? What is this? And then Googling, what is this? That's how I passed all of my taxation courses in school.
Was through TurboTax?
was through Googling what each individual phrase meant.
You signed into TurboTax and you're like, what does this question mean? For $200, I could get somebody to answer all my questions.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, some, like your social security card, or, I have to renew my passport, and I also need to do an enhanced ID because right now I can't fly anywhere, which isn't a great feeling.
No.
So yeah, do I think I could do a little, maybe, what is that? That lady, she had a show on Netflix about, yes. Do I need to do that to my brain? Maybe.
Yes. The magical art of tidying up. Yes. The problem is that I'll pick something up in my brain to hold on to it and say, oh, yes, thank you. This does not spark joy. And then I pick up the next thing without putting the first thing down. I go, yes, this also does not spark joy.
And then you're like, look at all my rocks.
In the jerk, just carrying all this shit with me out of the house.
Yes, it's like Sanford and Sons by the time I'm done. There's just a pile of it stacked like 30 feet high.
Yeah, exactly.
Of all my treasures that I've shared and saved.
But yeah, so I thought that was something, because I just feel like, especially, I mean, by the time this episode comes out, it'll be like May, I think. I'm sure by then, I mean, I hope by then the president is different, but
in a different state
than the one we have currently as of February 8th anyway. But
God, party.
That doesn't necessarily mean it'll be any better. So there's definitely some comfort TV that'll be necessary to get us through, I think.
I think the other comforting thought with everything in life, but especially right now, is like the kind of like this too shall pass. But like there's been shitty men before, and they all die. They're all going to die. They're all going to die eventually. And there's more of us than them. So my feeling, at least what the narrative that I'm telling myself right now, is we are not, things aren't terrible, that we are watching them unfold, and we need to like ride the wave and let them unfold. People haven't been held accountable yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't.
Right.
Because there's got to be, so we have what, like 350 million people in the country or something. You can't tell me that 200 million people are not furious right now. So
yeah, you shared it, but then I reshared it. But it's a quote by Adrienne Marie Brown that says, "Things are not getting worse; they are getting uncovered. We must hold each other tight as we continue to pull back the veil."
I reread that quote this morning after I had a brief 15-minute spiral about the state of things. And I will say, like, as a parent, I think that getting up every day and, you know, having to do the same routines, and knowing that, you know, I need to still keep my child safe and happy and healthy, that I can't help but be an optimistic person. I really refuse at this point to accept that things are just going to get worse, because I think that there has to be accountability at a certain point, and we have to have hope, and we have to have optimism about things.
I also think that's the magic of being around children, 100%. Whether you're a parent or, you know, an aunt or whatever. But there's just, I think one of my favorite things, which is one of my, I mean, I still think it when I go out in the snow for the first time, you know, every winter, but children always look at things with like such a level of wonder that I just find like so inspiring and like so magical. And there's like moments like this past full moon, I was having a go of it at work, frankly.
This full moon sent everybody for a loop.
I was struggling. I was on my last leg, frankly. But when I would like get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, when I'd go back upstairs to bed, the window in our stairwell is like perfectly aligned with the moon path. And so I could just see the full moon. And it was just that sort of thing where I was like, okay, deep breath. You're going to be okay. You can see the moon. And it was like this very like grounding moment. But it was also those moments of where I was like, why would the moon calm me down if not that being like a sign from like a past life or like the witchy women that came before me or something like that, where I was like, okay, they were here before me and they made it through and I am too, kind of thing. So, you know, it's just like, but watching like your child have like wonder about things or like, you know, take PK by the hand and drag him over to her play station and like then walk away. 10 out of 10.
Bye, bitch. She just leaves.
You need to be occupied.
I watched a clip of this guy who, it was an interview, just like one of those like street interviews. And this guy had lost his wife a couple years before. And he was saying that he was like at her funeral and he was kind of looking at her and he said, well, you know, tomorrow the sun's going to rise in the east. And I'm like, that is 100% it. Like the sun is still going to rise tomorrow. So I think there is a lot of grounding to be found in that. That these pieces of shit, these like evil men, there is a reckoning to be had. I think that there are too many people that are too furious. I mean, maybe we're going to be eating our words by the time this airs, but there have been too many wrongs. I think these files being released, I think everyone, I mean, I know in our house, obviously, I have voted against this man thrice.
Yeah.
But I think we are fully at the point where it's like, this is not acceptable. And I don't accept this as a future for any of us, let alone these kids that they, you know, they didn't ask to be born. They didn't ask for this environment. And I certainly don't feel like we should be handing this world off to them. So I think that there's a lot of work to be done, but these old pieces of shit, our piece of shit president, our pedophile president is near death. He is shitting his pants on television. He is dementia soup right now. And I hope that he is afraid when he falls into a deep sleep every night. Well, he doesn't really sleep much.
I don't think he sleeps. Yeah.
At 2 a.m. But the times that he does sleep, I hope that he's afraid that he's going to fall into such a deep sleep that he's going to die in his sleep.
I think also I'm very grateful for Mayor Mamdani forcing New York Governor Hochul to be way more progressive than she would ever want to be.
Yes. Because that's the other thing. These establishment, these Chuck Schumers, their time is over. Like people they're going to get primaried. People are not going to vote for them. Chuck Schumer just went to an event where he was telling people to fund Israel. Sir, there's a genocide happening. We're paying for them to have free health care and we don't have health care.
And free college. Free health care, free college.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So I think that's what's going to happen. I think that these middle of the line old establishment like the time is done.
Yes.
My spouse has this really dark quote that he'll say sometimes when things like this happen, but he'll say dinosaurs need to die. And that's where we're at. These old establishment people that have been riding the wave for 50 years and this old style of politician that does not exist in this atmosphere anymore. You got to go. You got to go. Hakeem Jeffries.
They're all
you got to go.
Ducks. Yeah.
They're all lame ducks. And and I think too, at this point, if you are not removing pedophiles from office, I am labeling you a pedophile.
Yeah.
That's just where we're at. You're either not a pedophile or you're a pedophile. And a good chunk of our government right now are pedophiles. So personally, I'm not cool.
Know, Ivanka, if you want to come forward, we would believe you. Just so you know.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. You know, there are exit ramps. And are you going to have to eat crow? 100%. 100%.
Yep. Absolutely.
But you got to abandon it. It's, you know, it's these men are a cancer. They are a cancer. And their time is over and they got to go. They got to go. And we refuse to accept anything else.
Yes. And it is at that point where now with the release of these files, it isn't just, oh, well, we have a difference of opinion in politics. Nope. No, now
they're pedophiles.
This isn't political.
Yeah.
So, and if you think that pedophilia is a political issue, then it really doesn't matter what you say after that, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I can't and won't acknowledge that as a valid opinion. Certainly not on politics. So,
right.
Like I said, and I've been saying, for a while, I do think that we are on the eve of a revolution. I don't know, at least for the federal government, I don't know if it means that the country will split and it'll be like a civil war thing. It's feeling that way just from we're from land area, one of the largest nations in the world. And whether it's going to be a setup similar to Canada, where there's provinces and, states within those provinces. I don't know, but there are plenty of ways to make it work. But I don't think that the current way of things is going to last much longer.
I mean, it's not sustainable.
Which is a wild thing to say that like I have ancestors who were present during the American Revolution, I can track them, I can know their names, and then to think that I'll be present at the Second American Revolution is pretty wild.
There's a Frederick Douglass quote, and I mean, obviously I'm dumbing it down to a 5-year-old level at this point, but
compared to last week's linguistics discussion, I appreciate it.
Yeah. He said something to the effect, it was around the Civil War, and he said that that I don't know if it was the phrasing was not a revolution, but basically there are values that are not what's the word I'm looking for? They just can't ever work together. And he said whether this is a moral battle or a physical battle or both, there has to be a reckoning for it. And I do feel like that's the point that we're at. And I'm past the point of denial. I think that Trump won. There was a lot of denial. People didn't really think it was going to get this bad, but it's bad and we're here. And, I mean, as a parent, I can't hand this. I can't hand off a government run by fucking pedophiles off to a generation of kids. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. On top of the dangers that these kids face in schools with guns. And I mean, there has to be a reckoning, and it has to be young people saying, hey, we can't do this anymore. There has to be a line in the sand. And I'm just really praying that the release of, half of the Epstein files is sufficient, because I know, for me personally, I've gotten past the point of hoping that it's not going to happen. And it's I welcome it at this point. I change and revolution, a extreme change. I welcome that at this point. Mm-hmm. Because these are principles that I'm willing to stand behind. And that's not, I mean, this country has a very sordid history, and there's a lot of really fucked up things that we have done and are doing.
Yes, this is not the first time that white men in power of this country have been publicly or proudly discussing the rape of 9-year-old girls, just to be clear. Thomas
war
Jefferson
crimes,
loved it.
Right.
So,
war crimes, bombing other countries, taking out heads of state, starting wars in other countries, just so that we can sweep in and then take control and be absolute colonists. That's what this country's built on.
Pillage for resources. Yeah.
Right. But I think there is also a sense of possibility in the United States. I think there is an eternal optimism that Americans have. And I do think that there are principles that absolutely need to be defended and protected. And, the fact that people are getting murdered at protests for trying to protect their neighbors, that is the least American thing I can think of. Mm-hmm. So I'll get off my soapbox, but fuck the pedophile president that we have and the rest of the men that are complicit in this system that they created.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hope that they all die by choking on diarrhea, frankly.
Butthole spiders. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Love that. Disgusting.
Visual, speaking of diarrhea, I saw a note. Switching gears.
What a segue.
Right before we sign off. But I saw a post that the Ballerina Farm was selling raw milk, and they decided to stop selling it, even though it was passing all of Utah's tests for to be like able to sell milk. Well, they were found to have the cholestemia, which is like the thread of bacteria that includes E. coli. Mm-hmm. And then they said like, oh, well, for now, we're just going to stop producing. We're just going to stop selling raw milk until we build a new dairy that's like designed to, like, they were basically saying like the dairy that they built was for pasteurized products. And they're hoping that in the future, they'll be able to build a different dairy that's specifically for like bottling unpasteurized products, but it has to be like tested daily or something, and in order to be like legally sold. And I was like, you're still gonna sell it to the fucking freaks that think that raw milk makes your skin better, whatever.
One of the things I do love about this moment in time is all of these like little niche accounts that I follow are just coming out and being like as political as they possibly can, and it's just like, it's beautiful to watch. And then they lose a bunch of followers, and then they do a follow-up post that's like, well, fuck your mom, basically. So I have been enjoying that, but one of the ones I follow, I think she's a Canadian farmer, and she was talking about raw milk, and she did a video of one of her cows from like, she was walking behind one of her cows. And, you know, I love cows. I think they're adorable. I think they're sweet. But also their butthole, their giant butthole, is right above their udders. And she was like, how does E. coli get into milk? How does E. coli get into raw milk? She was like, maybe it's this giant butthole right above the udders. I'm like, yes.
I mean, it is a truly gaping butthole. Like, if you've never, for whatever, I don't know why I've seen it, but the doctor doing the like rectal exam, it goes all the way up to their shoulder.
Yes.
And it's like they don't have to put on Vaseline or anything to get in there. It just goes right in. Bloop. That's how big their beehole is. Yes. And like, they're just
cow pies
wandering around. Right. Like it's enormous. It's an enormous amount of fecal matter. And
it's kind of like vaccines. You're just like, you're like this close to getting it. I don't like, I remember reading a tweet and somebody was like, what if instead of vaccines, we were just exposed to like a little bit of it? And you're like, yeah, you dummy. That's what a fucking vaccine is. Kind of like, well, maybe if we just like heat up the milk and kill the bacteria. Yeah, that's fucking pasteurization, you idiots.
It's somebody who's like, oh, I just get a base tan before I go on vacation. That way I don't burn. And, you know, in 15 years, yes, I did get melanoma, but I'm pretty sure it's not connected. Like, no, girlfriend. The solution is sunblock, not the base tan.
I didn't get lung cancer from the vaping. I don't have popcorn lung from the vaping. I mean, it's just like, but we'll still carry a cell phone in their pocket. Like, what? So,
oh my God.
People are still dumb. Raw milk is still one of the dumbest trends.
I can't imagine how bad your breath is if you've had raw milk. That's all I have. Like, coffee breath is bad. I can't imagine coffee breath plus coffee made with raw milk.
It's honestly like the thought of it is like of raw milk is repulsive. I'm not a milk drinker, which we've talked about before, because Katie is married to the ultimate milk drinker. Yes. But my
husband was a calf in a past life.
Maybe in a current life. We don't know yet. The tests haven't come back. But it's just like one of those. I'm just like, that's disgusting. Have you seen? And that's one of those like, have you seen a cow? Have you seen one from behind?
So true. Like, it's the same with like like, I understand the argument. Like, I know it's not the same, but like with pigs and like it not being kosher and like, oh, they're a filthy animal. Yeah. I held a piglet once. I smelled for the rest of the day. It was a piglet. And it was clean.
Have you held a piglet immediately after birth? Because
no, I know that you did that on your honeymoon because you have a kink, but I'm kidding.
What a fucking weird
she doesn't have a kink. It's just the weirdest stuff happens to Garrett when she goes to Europe. It's really
true. The weirdest stuff happens to me in general.
But yeah, like I mean, it's just like. Oh, yeah, we didn't tell them that.
I forgot about it.
Garrett she came home from work the other day and texted me. Well, I got a voice memo that was like following Garrett discovering this bird in her house and then trying to track how it got in. But then like a subsequent message comes in about something else and then gets interrupted by more bird facts because then Garrett realizes that all of these things were like knocked off of a shelf that the dog couldn't have reached, and then realizes that there's globs of bird poop all over her house because this bird was locked inside apparently all day just having a field day. And so I had like 3 or 4 voice memos from Garrett where she's like going through discovering the craziness of her life.
And it was one of those days where you get home from work and you're like, wow, thank God.
That was the voice memo because you were like, wow, I was sitting in meetings for 6 hours straight today.
Oh my God. It was like, I had this. I've had all these things going on. It was just like such a busy day.
I opened the door to the laundry room and a bird flew at my head.
Flew right at my fucking face.
Like a chickadee, not like one of the birds that she has on the farm. So
yeah, no, this was
not
a
like
wild
one of her birds.
Wild. And I then was like, we were also in this cold snap. So it's now, do I leave my door open?
Right.
To let this bird out. This bird that it flew at my face and then I immediately lost sight of it and I couldn't find it. Which was also a great twist. Yeah, and then finding that it had ripped apart all of my houseplants and had made a complete fucking mess of my house. Like between shit that it just like knocked over and threw all over the place and the tiniest little poops. The tiniest little poops I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was dehydrated.
It was terrified. So yeah, those are
fear poos.
I think the end of the voice note was like, not like, I'm not one of those like, oh my God, my life is so terrible. I'm totally not one of those people that's like really negative and my life is so terrible. But it was one of those like, more just like a curiosity, but like, why was I selected as the person to have the loose bird? The bird that I still haven't figured out how it got into my house.
Well, and my request was just that you videotape it when you tell your husband that he needed to figure out how a bird got into the house.
And when I told him,
verify that it got outside.
When I told him about it, I kind of said to him, I was like, I was kind of expecting like a bigger reaction. He goes, oh no, I'm completely dissiociating from the thought right now because I can't even think about it. And I was like, oh, well, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm really the person to handle. If there's like hair in the sink drain that has to get thrown out, he's the person for that because I'll throw up. But if there's a bird in the house, definitely the person because that's not my first bird in the house.
Yeah.
For the record. In our old house, I also, while I was home on maternity leave, had a bird fly in the house.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And I was like, had a sleeping baby on me. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do to get this? Unfortunately, the bird flew back out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am just one of those people that weird conversations, weird people, weird series of events. And sometimes I'm like, is it just that I have the type of brain that's like observing these things, or is it just that weird things happen to me?
Well, I don't know if you can blame the bird being in your house on just that you observed it. The bird would have been there even if you hadn't.
Considering the bird was real.
Oh,
so anyway.
I got a kitty. Look at this little boy. Hi, baby.
Hi. Are we going to get a little sniff? No.
I don't know. Let's see. Gonna get... You want sniffles?
The fact that all his whiskers
Mom, this
move.
is why I don't talk to you.
Yes. This is why I hide under the bed.
Yeah. I had to take all 3 cats to the vet at the same time last week. Thinking when I made the appointment for like 8:30 in the morning that PK would be able to help me, like corral the cats. and then he had a trial go forward, so he could not be here.
Don't you love when that happens?
Yeah. So it wasn't terrible because all of their cat carriers have like a shoulder strap. So I was able to like carry one in each hand and then one over my shoulder. So it wasn't the end of the world. It was also one of those things where I was like, man, I kind of wish I had one of those cat strollers that I could just like stack them on.
You almost need just like a dolly.
Yeah, like a hand truck.
With just a stack of cats.
Yeah, so I took them all to the vet and they all gained about half a pound. So the vet was like, ooh, less wet food. And I was like, yeah, they're lucky if I remember to give them the wet food. So no, that's
our I don't have a house cat. I have a barn cat.
Just one?
Who she loves me. Yeah, she took off. I don't know where the other one
stayed. The black one or the
Yeah. Oh. I saw her for like a month and she hung around. She was like real close, hung around for a month and then completely took off. And I haven't seen her since. But the other one, our little Junie, she loves me. She just can't admit it yet. And if we are late bringing food out, she will you can see like our back door from the barn where she spends some of her time and where her food is. And she'll just like stick her face in the hole and she's just watching the back door, waiting for you to bring her food.
And Junie's a calico, which is very calico coded, for those of you that have cats, because that's also a very Sophie move.
She's I love our little Junie. She does funny stuff, but she doesn't mean to. But every now and then, like, I'll look and she's like lounging on our front porch, like on the
furniture. Oh, I love when they lounge and they just like they get so flat.
Yes.
And they lay on their sides. It's like the funniest thing. The cat we had growing up would do that, especially in the winter. If you made your bed, she would, like where the comforter hangs over the side of the bed, she'd find like the ripple and hop up the ripple and then be under your comforter flat. Yeah. So like you couldn't see her necessarily.
Oh my God.
She'd also get locked in our dresser drawers a lot sometimes because she'd go in there because the like, especially in the bottom drawer was always like sweaters and stuff. She'd go in there and, curl up. And then, my mom would like come through and just like push the drawer closed and you go to open it up.
And she comes flying out like a jack in the box.
It's just like the glowing eyes, like,
yeah, she's, it's a little bit more scary, but and I also see her hunting a lot. So she's,
good.
I also respect, she's pretty badass. Sometimes I'll just find a tail of something hanging out. So she's pretty vicious little thing.
Yeah.
But very cute.
The cat that we had. That was when I was growing up. She loved to hunt stuff. It was great.
Oh yeah.
These cats are useless if a mouse gets inside. Yeah. They're like, oh my God, we're at the zoo. Look at this. An exhibition.
I remember being at a zoo one time. My friend and I were walking and there was a squirrel. And somebody was like, or a chipmunk, and somebody was like, oh, look, a chipmunk. And we were like, bitch, you are at a zoo. There is an elephant next to you. Why are you looking at the chipmunk?
The chipmunk wasn't in a cage or anything, right? Like it wasn't like a
wild chipmunk.
Small rodent display or something.
He was just doing his thing.
Just where we raise what we feed to the snakes.
Like basically, I mean, I remember the chipmunk I rescued here. I was like, I'm just not going to think too much about the fact that the barn cat's definitely going to eat you tomorrow, but
sorry.
Good luck.
I know. I wish that I could have the cats go outside and be helpful in my garden, but they can't. And it's more trouble than it's worth, frankly.
Sophie would definitely be more trouble than it was worth.
Sophie used to go outside when I first got her and I lived with my mom. But she really wouldn't go very far. She would like hang out in the front garden and then come right back inside and then use the litter box and then go back out. And I was like, you are missing the point of letting you outside.
Yes.
The point is that you do that bit out there.
Outside. Yeah. In the wild.
Right. Although this summer I am going to, I think, we'll see. I'm hoping to be able to build like a permanent gate into my vegetable garden so that I'll still have like my temporary fencing that I put up around it, but the gate will just be a lot easier to get in and out of. So I did use ChatGPT, but I was like, I want this this gate with these size posts. Get me a cut list.
Yeah. So. I mean, there are times Or ChatGPT is helpful.
Yeah. But, yeah, so we'll see. But I also got a garden cart off of somebody on Facebook Marketplace. So I'll be able to get like a solid mulch delivery and topsoil delivery this summer or this spring for my new beds to fill those and then to top off the ones from last year. Nice. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping that I get a lot more yield this summer. Not that I didn't get a lot last summer.
Oh, no, yeah.
Now I know what to expect. And I'm going to move around. Like, I'm going to put my strawberry, I think I'm going to put that in a hanging thing because it was just getting eaten alive by whatever.
I was going to say, it might keep some of, I feel like chipmunks go in and eat mine.
Yeah.
Or like squirrels.
And if I put it in a hanging bag, I can, like, I have like the mesh bags to go over a tree, but I could also like put it.
Oh, yeah.
Like up.
So the birds can't get to it either.
Right.
Yeah, because they're fucking bastards. Like, I get it. You have to eat too.
Wait, but I put out bird seeds.
Also,
like, stay in your lane.
Oh, whatever our chickens don't eat, the fucking squirrels do. So I'm like, okay, guys, is that not enough? Is all of this not enough?
Right.
The broccoli that you're eating, is that not enough?
It's organic.
Jesus. To steal the rest of my shit.
Yeah.
Well, that was a cool episode.
I thought it was just really interesting. And, you know, like the idea that like recovering from illness or whatever, when you want that comfort show, like the reason for it is that it's just tied to like those really peaceful memories as well, in addition to relaxing your amygdala. So kind of cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Also, I think it goes towards watching a show that's been out for a while. So like if you need to, you can Google why something happened or what happens and like kind of have an idea of like what to look for. So I think it goes to that. Not as much, of course, but we're watching Gotham right now. And
I watched, I think, a few episodes. I didn't really.
It's very good. I really like it. Honestly.
It's got that blonde guy, right?
From the OC.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. There's like the Riddler is in it. Penguin is in it. Mr. Freeze.
Did you watch Penguin on HBO?
No, not yet.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a really good one.
But yeah, it's just very interesting. It's an interesting take on it and like cool little like origin stories and stuff like that. And because it was on CBS, it's like 24 episodes a season, so it's like lasting.
Yeah,
which is like like
an eternal show.
Old fashioned.
Versus HBO, they're like, I hope you like these 4 episodes you're getting. Yeah. You're going to wait 3 years for another one. CBS is like, how would you like 600 episodes this season?
Right. Tom Selleck isn't available for 3 of them, but otherwise. But yeah, so that's what we got. You know, enjoy your comfort show. We'll be back here in about 2 weeks and have some other topic. I don't know what the next topic's going to be.
Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't either. So blow me.
There we go. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Make sure that you are following us on social media and that you are subscribed and that you leave us a review wherever you find us. 5 stars only, obviously. Otherwise, I think that's all we got. Yeah, until next time, veg out to your favorite trash TV.
And fight fascism.
Yeah, because the bar is ankle high.